From the cutthroat world of streaming deals, we move into another type of corporate battleground. This time, closer to home, Instacart business practices are raising serious questions about ethics and how much power companies should have over workers and consumers alike. Instacart, officially Maple Bear Inc., is a grocery delivery and shopping platform that lets consumer order groceries online from local stores and have them delivered to their door or ready for pickup. The service partners with hundreds of regional and national retailers and operates in tens and thousands of grocery stores across the US and Canada, giving consumers access to their favorite brands without leaving home. Instacart has also expanded its technology offering beyond delivery, selling enterprise tools that help retailers digitize stores, manage inventory, and personalize online shopping experiences. The company went public in 2023 and since then has attracted significant investments from institutional shareholders as a major player in the grocery e-commerce market, controlling an estimated 68% of third-party grocery delivery in the United States. Instacart has recently made headlines not because of its growth or new services, but because independent investigations have found evidence of algorithm driven pricing variation across customers. Multiple reports, including by Consumers Report and the Groundwork Collaborative, tested prices for identical grocery items at the same store and found meaningfully different prices for different users, often without shoppers' knowledge. In some cases, three-quarters of product tested shows different prices across shoppers at the same store. Price difference range from a few cents up to 23% or more per item. Average basket could vary in total cost by about 7%, which some analysts estimate could add up to roughly $1,200 a year per family. This practice is sometimes described as surveillance pricing or dynamic pricing tests, where algorithms vary prices to observe what customers are willing to pay. Instacart has acknowledged running pricing tests and later said it stopped at some of their locations. However, the investigation found evidence that these pricing experiments were active at major retailers, including Costco, Target, Kruger, and Safeway. So, what is going on here? Why is a grocery delivery service, one people use for basic necessities like milk, eggs, and groceries, suddenly behaving more like airline ticketing systems or ride hail surge pricing? To answer that, we need to look at the underlying algorithmic practices that have spread from industries like airlines into everyday retail, and why that raises a serious question about fairness, transparency, and consumer harm. Independent tests found price difference from the same item at the same stores across different users, sometimes up by 23%. Across sample users, three-quarters of products showed different prices and average baskets varied by 7%. Costco, Kruger, Safeway, Target, and others were included in the study data. Instacart says it ran randomized pricing tests and has paused some of them while exerting their retailers' partner set pricing. Let's establish something first. This isn't speculation and it isn't new. The pricing system people are upset about today were actually invented decades ago, documented, studied, and openly used by major industries. So, where did all this begin? The short answer is that the modern dynamic pricing comes from airlines. In the late 1970s and the early 1980s, after airline deregulation in the United States, companies needed a way to maximize revenue on a fixed, perishable product: airplane seats. American Airlines pioneered what was called yield management. Robert Crandall, former CEO of American Airlines, publicly credited yield management systems with generating hundreds of millions of dollars in additional revenue per year. The logic was simple. A seat that flies empty is lost forever. Not all customers are willing to pay the same price. The price changed based on demand, timing, and purchasing behavior. The system worked and it spread. So, where is this used today? Let's explore that. Dynamic pricing algorithms are now standard practices in airlines, hotels, ride sharing apps such as Uber and Lyft, food delivery platforms, ticketing platforms, online retail, grocery delivery services like Instacart. I actually use food delivery platforms, so I can't imagine my neighbors paying less than me. Companies openly describe their system as dynamic pricing, demand based pricing, personalized offers, revenue optimization. Here is an important fact: these algorithms do not know your income. They do not know your salary, your savings, your debt, your rent, your financial stress. What they do know is our behavior. They track how often we buy, when we buy, how long we wait, whether we abandon our carts, or how frequently do we check prices, whether we respond to discounts, time of day, location, and demand conditions. With these variables, they estimate price sensitivity, not affordability. That distinction matters. The critical assumption is baked into the system. The system makes one core inference. If a user completes the purchase at this price, then this price is acceptable. This inference becomes training data. So if you are spending less, because let's say you're a frugal person, you get punished. If you're a person who maybe not frugal, but very impulsive and you just want your stuff now, and let's say if it's like $30 instead of $28, if you buy it at for $30, then you're also going to get punished. This is what the algorithm does not factor: credit card debt, buy now, pay later usage, overdraft fees, financial trade offs are being made elsewhere. A completed transaction is treated as success regardless of the consequences. Now, historically, markets had friction. If a price was too high, people would simply just walk away. The sellers are forced to adjust. Then came credit. Credit removes those friction. A purchase can succeed even when it causes financial harm, debt, stress, long term instability. The algorithm never sees the damage, only the conversion. That means harm is invisible to the system, but fully absorbed by the individual. Now, I don't know about y'all. That sounds like a bully to me. Why isn't this charging rich people more? This is the key misunderstanding. The system is not saying you're wealthy, so you can afford this. They are saying you usually wait for lower prices, you're buying now. This moment has higher extraction value. People who are careful, patient, or budget conscious are not protected. They are often penalized at the exact moment they stop waiting. And here's the ethical issue: when a system infers affordability from behavior, ignores financial capacity, benefits from credit, masking real harm, and adjusts prices without transparency, the risk is shifted entirely onto the customer. Meanwhile, the platform takes guaranteed payments and zero downside. The individual absorbs debt, financial pressure, long term consequences. That is not a neutral market. So, why does this matter? Prices used to communicate value. Now they communicate, this is what we believe you will tolerate right now. That changes the relationship between people and market. Trust erodes, prices become unknowable, and purchase becomes adversarial. And more importantly, none of this require malicious intent. It's a logical outcome of a system that optimizes revenue without visibility into human costs. This isn't about stopping technology, it's about recognizing that behavior is not the same as ability. And a system that can't tell the difference should not be treated as morally neutral. Because when affordability is inferred instead of understood, the cost doesn't disappear, it just shows up later, somewhere else in someone's life. Back then, people would go to the store to grab what they needed. The price would be the same for everyone. Sale days were the same for everyone. When shopping moved online, the convenience of having items delivered was available to everyone equally. Now, it seems like there are ethical implications. Not everyone gets the same price for the same product. Dynamic pricing algorithms may adjust what you pay based on your behavior, even though they don't know your income, your debt, your financial reality. That means people who are careful, patient, or budget conscious can end up paying more than someone who buys impulsively. And what about the law? Right now, there isn't a regulation that requires online retailers to charge everyone the same price. Dynamic pricing is legal as long as it is not discriminatory against protected classes or deceptive. Some places, like New York, are starting to require disclosure when algorithm influence pricing, but uniform pricing isn't a legal requirement yet. So while the convenience of online shopping has expanded, the idea of fairness in pricing hasn't followed. Prices are no longer a simple reflection of value. They are a reflection of what the system thinks we are willing to tolerate. And that is the real question we should be asking. If the rules of the market are changing, shouldn't fairness and transparency change too?